Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we're going to be making an exquisite knife out of this premium bar of Damascus steel. After firing up the forge, I let it heat up to 2100 degrees Fahrenheit and then stuck the piece of Damascus steel in. The first step of making this knife is to forge in the point. I start by forging in the corners of the knife, hitting at a 45-degree angle. I decided to not forge in the tip completely, so instead I just cut in the tip and then bent it around to match the shape I wanted. Now I use the back of the crosspeen hammer to move the material lengthwise. A good way to think of this is like ripples in a pond. If you throw a rock in there, the ripples will spread in all directions. But if you throw a stick in, the ripples will only move lengthwise. And the same principle applies to steel. This process is called normalizing, and it's one of the most important steps for knife making. First, you heat up the knife to just above a non-magnetic temperature, and then you let the knife air cool. Then you heat it up to right at non-magnetic and let it air cool. After it's cooled, you heat it up to just below non-magnetic and then let it air cool one more time, and that's one normalizing cycle. Now that I've gotten the bar drawn out to its appropriate length and gotten it normalized, I went ahead and super glued on the design of the knife, and I'm going to go ahead and do stock removal from here. Next, I'm going to go ahead and throw some quick Sharpie lines on there. These just give me some quick layout lines for when I cut in the grooves for the ladder pattern Damascus. Right now, the only visible layers are on the spine of the knife. But when I cut in those grooves and then hammer them flat, it exposes them in a very topographical manner. I decided to use the oxyacetylene torch to do the first step of my second normalizing cycle. After grinding the knife to its final thickness and flatness, it's time to drill the holes for the handle. Most drill bits won't drill through hardened steel, so it's important to drill them before heat treat, and then to lightly chamfer the holes to reduce stresses while heat treating. To harden the knife, heat the entire blade up to just barely non-magnetic and then quench it in oil. If a chainsaw file won't bite into the knife, then it got hard. After being hardened, the crystalline structure of the steel is very hard but very brittle. To reduce that brittleness, I put the knife in the oven at 375 degrees for 2 hours, 2 times. Now that I've finished the heat treating process on this one, I'm going to fix a little bit of a warp that it has. It just kicks off this way a little bit. Fix that, and then grind in the bevels. The next thing on the agenda is to get these bevels more refined. Right now they're super rough, just in at 36 grit. It's not perfectly centered, and the plunge lines aren't symmetrical with each other, and that is one of the most important things when you're making a knife, is to get those plunges perfectly symmetrical. So back to the old grind. On all my knives, I like to do a crowned or rounded spine. I think this looks nice and is super comfortable. After sanding the knife to 1000 grit, giving it a quick buff, and then cleaning it off super duper well, it's time to put it in the ferric chloride. The ferric chloride will etch the Damascus blade, revealing the pattern. I sand the knife to 1000 grit one more time to remove all the black, and then I put it in a very weak ferric chloride solution. With the blade of the knife completely finished out, it's time to work on the handle. Sculpting the handle is my favorite part of the knife making process. This is when I get to see what's in my head really come to life. After gluing the scales to the knife, I gently peened over the pins. This'll give a nice mechanical connection. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you haven't already done so, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe and turn on those notifications. If you'd like to learn more about knife making and watch more of the process, make sure to go watch some of my other videos, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.